guys, Zach here with UNIT Solutions. Before you get started training with the Unit 4, we recommend that you watch this video in its entirety. You'll learn some simple do's and don'ts, how to clean and maintain your system, and which TPAK types are most effective for each type of training. Let's talk about the three types of TPAKs that come with the Unit 4 training rifle. The first is a non-marking TPAK. And so each TPAK with projectile is going to come preloaded with 30 rounds. The non-markers are best for training indoors or outdoors. They're going to give you the best accuracy at distance out to about 25 meters. They're approved for force on target and force on force training. Next, we've got our marking rounds. And so this is a paint-based round. It's going to explode upon impact. It's going to leave about a dime-sized mark. These are really best used indoors at true CQB distances, 10, 12 meters and in. You can use them in an outdoor environment, and we'll cover how to handle that in just a minute. And the third TPAK type is just a blanks. So if you have a training environment where you don't want any projectiles, maybe you're in a school where a teacher or principal is not too excited about any rounds flying around, you can use the blank TPAKs to cycle the bolt. It'll deliver the recoil that you expect when you have the projectiles, and it really enhances the training environment. It also can be used with lasers, screens, or headsets to make an immersive training experience even more realistic by pairing our Unit 4 rifle with the best-in-class recoil. So blanks are really effective for those environments. If you're training outdoors in high humidity or in high heat, it's always going to be a better idea to use the non-marking TPAKs, as they're going to yield the most reliable performance in high heat and high humidity. The non-markers are a solid core plastic round, and so the humidity really doesn't work on these rounds at all. You can use these up to about 104 Fahrenheit. With the marking rounds, if you have a functional training need to use the marking rounds in high heat or high humidity, there's a couple different handling recommendations that we have for using the marking rounds in these environments. So when you guys receive your TPAKs, they will come in a Mylar bag just like this. And so within this, you'll have the marking round TPAKs. The Mylar protects them in transit from here in our manufacturing facility in Ohio to you, the end user. And so we seal these and manufacture them and pack them in a climate controlled environment. When you receive them and open this for the first time, you'll basically be exposing them to whatever environment you're in. And so we always recommend when you're loading your TPAKs, when using marking rounds, you do it in a climate controlled environment, such that when you reseal that bag, you're also sealing it with the same kind of climate control properties that it was packaged with. If you're out in the field and you're going to need to refill TPAKs into magazines, there are a few ways that you can extend the functional value and usable life of the marking TPAKs. So one way is just to take this Mylar bag itself. Most guys, if you're training all day and you're not planning on coming back to base, you're going to probably go with a cooler, something to keep drinks cool or med supplies, anything like that. And so we just recommend you take the Mylar bag, place it into the cooler. Always best if you have ice packs or anything that's not just loose ice cubes. You don't want this thing to get wet necessarily. And so if you just have cubes in a cooler, providing some level of protection or extra barrier just to separate the physical ice from the Mylar bag is advised. Ice packs are even better because they don't really melt and leave a puddle. So again, if you're going out for a full day of training and you want to use the marking rounds, definitely keep them in the Mylar bag, move them into the cooler if you can. And then as you're in the field, open the Mylar bag, remove the TPAKs as quickly as you can, seal the Mylar bag back up, place it back in the cooler. Just some tips for handling the marking rounds to get the best training experience in those conditions. Last note, just on temperature itself, the magazines, if you're not using them, we recommend that you keep them in the shade or in a cool environment. If you're using a cooler with your TPAKs, it's a good idea to keep these in the cooler as well. If you're taking a lunch break or you've just got a break in training, it's going to allow the magazine to not sink all the heat in. As you can see, this is a metal body and it does transmit heat. And so if it's just sitting in direct sunlight, it's going to stress the seals on the inside. So just a quick tip, keep these out of the sunlight. So that's it, guys. Those are the three types of TPAKs that work with the Unit 4 rifle, the best use cases for each, and how to handle the marking rounds. Let's talk about how to load a TPAK to get started training. When you receive your TPAK ammo cartridges, whether they're marking or non-marking, they're going to have this orange tab on the bottom. As soon as you break this tab, it's going to release this follower spring, and now these rounds are feeding upward. The TPAK only loads into the magazine one way, and so to get it open, there's this little draw latch here on the side, and there's a carabiner here which you're going to have to push inward to remove this little safety arm that goes underneath of it. It's a really important safety feature that prevents the TPAK itself from ever coming out of the bottom of the magazine uncontrolled. As you load the TPAK in, it only goes in one way. You cannot load it backwards. It has some geometry on the inside of the magazine which indexes with this CO2 cylinder, and it allows it to find its home. Really important next step here, guys. As soon as you have that little arm engaged under the carabiner, it is fully safe to then close and puncture the CO2. And so as soon as I push this draw latch closed, what's going to happen on the inside is your CO2 cylinder is going to drive into the piercer cavity. It's going to puncture and seal the CO2. You are going to feel resistance, and so you need to commit to the close. You're going to feel it try to blow back. What you're doing is you're overcoming the pressure inside the gas. And so you'll see here, I'm going to stop here just to show you, there's these little butterfly wings, and as soon as you clear the sidewalls, they flex back out, and that allows you to see that it's fully pressurized, everything's controlled, and it's closed the way it's supposed to be. You know it's under pressure here, you can just push this main poppet. When you pull the trigger in the Unit 4, the hammer's going to hit right here, it's going to expel the gas here. So as long as you feel resistance here, it's a fully pressurized system. Let's talk about how to safely remove a TPAK once it's been emptied. So what we have here is a magazine. You can see here the follower is presented fully to the top, and so this represents a fully emptied magazine. What you're going to want to do is you're going to push down with your thumb and pull out and release this draw latch. You could see what happened there. You could see the gas expel. You could hear it. At this point, you visibly have seen that this is a degassed magazine. You can double check it here if you wanted to press on this poppet, and then you could safely remove it. If there was still pressure, this poppet would still have pressure against it, and you would feel a lot of resistance when you were trying to press that. Really important, guys, if you have a condition where you have a TPAK that remains stuck after you've released it. So I just released all the gas from this one, but I want to show you exactly how this will present. So whereby the last one expelled the gas and you could hear it and see it, it'll present like this. So you'll break that latch, you won't hear the gas expel, you won't see anything. This is still under pressure in this condition until you visibly see the TPAK move downward toward the bottom door of the magazine. You're definitely going to want to keep this latch engaged. This prevents the TPAK from ever flying out of the magazine uncontrolled and injuring somebody. And so if you ever open the draw latch, you don't hear or see the gas, just know that this is still under pressure. What we recommend in this condition is you find a flat surface. Today here, I'm just going to use the underside of the table. You could also use a tool, but you want to make sure the bottom of the magazine is pointed in a safe direction away from anything or anybody. And so I'm just going to bump this here. And so you can see there a little bit of a pressure on the top here. I can now visibly see that it's, moved downward toward the bottom of the magazine. And then at this point, you can safely remove it and load the next one. Let's talk a little bit about how to clean your Unit 4 training rifle. Every once in a while, you may get a marking round that bursts prematurely in the barrel. Even if you're just using the non-markers, we do recommend after each training session that you use the included cleaning rod and just a microfiber cloth patch or a towel to clean the barrel. This is how that looks. So your system's going to break down basically just like an AR. So you want to remove your bolt carrier group, your charging handle, and set that to the side. With your cleaning rod, you're always going to want to plunge any debris out from the chamber toward the muzzle here. And so you're going to drop this straight in like this, and you're just going to pull it through. And so do that a few times until you don't see any residue on here. You can see there's a little bit of red paint residue here. I would probably run this through just one more time to make sure it came out fully clean. Some of our customers do use a cloth barrel snake, and so they make barrel snakes. Really important that you don't introduce metal into the smooth bore of the Unit 4 system. If you have barrel snakes, some of them do have sort of a metal sheathing on the inside. It's easy to remove them. You can just separate the fabric and remove it. It's a good way to clean the barrel as well. Just again, be sure that you're not using a metal wire brush or a metal bore snake. So the Unit 4 performs just like an AR in form, fit, and function with just one exception. With our platform, there is no extractor, and so it loads up the same way as a magazine-fed AR system. You'll rack the charging handle, which will chamber the very first round. What's important to note is once you hit this mag release button and you remove the magazine, there will still be a round in battery. Now, our customers have found a few different ways to handle this. Some use the cleaning rod that's provided with the kit, and they will just pop it out through the barrel. A second way is some customers keep a blank on hand, a blank TPAK, and so they can actually fire that round out, and then they'll know that the barrel's clean. And then the third way is just recognizing that you still have a round in battery. And so if you're taking a pause during a training event and you're stopping for lunch, next time you load up that magazine, just recognize you're going to have a round in the chamber. If you forget, and somebody takes this and they double feed a non-marking round or a marking round into the system, only thing that's going to happen is you're going to fire 2 rounds downrange. After a few trigger pulls, baseline accuracy will be restored, so you won't have a stoppage. There will be no jam. You'll just have 2 rounds in battery during that first trigger pull. So not a catastrophic malfunction or any sort of major consequence. You can basically train right through it. Let's talk about the pain penalty and PPE required when training with the Unit 4 rifle. If you're training with the Unit 4 in a force-on-force engagement, we always recommend that you have no exposed skin. So we recommend long sleeves, gloves. You don't want to have any of your skin exposed. If you take a round, what you can expect is about a dime-sized welt. It'll go away after a day or two. If you do take a round to exposed skin, it might draw a speck of blood, but otherwise that's what you can expect if you're hitting padded clothing. As far as what's required on the PPE side, we require eye, mouth, and ear protection. And so, as far as the eye pro goes, you don't necessarily need a full face mask unless you're doing force on force engagements. You may want to use one, but generally, if you're doing marksmanship training, you're just getting in some trigger pulls in between, doing stuff at home. You can just use eye pro, mouth pro, ear pro, mouth pro, mouth guard, gaiter, anything just to protect your teeth. And with the ear pro, a lot of guys, if you're training like you fight or in your kit, you might already have it embedded in your helmet. If you don't, everybody's got some ears that they use at a shooting range. We just recommend you put those on to protect against any ricochets or round going into the ear. For force on force, a lot of our customers do use a full face mask. It just provides an extra level of protection for guys that, especially in an op 4 case, if they know they're going to be taking rounds all day, it gives them a little bit extra layer of protection. This one has a neck gaiter. This one has kind of an exposed top. Either of these would work just fine. It just provides extra facial protection, the nose, some of the other sensitive areas in close quarters combat situations. So that's it, guys. That's what's required with PPE when you train with the Unit 4. Not only is the Unit 4 training rifle made right here in the USA, but our products are backed by our stateside customer success team. And so if you have absolutely any issues with your rifle, your magazine, or the non-lethal training ammo, we encourage you to reach out to our team. We would be more than happy to help address any concerns quickly to ensure you have the best training experience possible with our products.